This is Pete Everest. 8 months ago, he couldn't get cold email to work and thought it was too saturated. But here's what happened after working with us.
I think in the 8 months we worked together, had about 160 calls, which then converted to 16 of those prospective clients signing contracts with us. We generated in the 8 months about 70,000 in revenue.
Would you recommend people to BuzzLead?
I have already recommended like 10 of my fellow business owners to use BuzzLead.
So in this video, my business partner Nick and I sit down with Pete to break down what we did differently from the other agencies he's worked with, the results that he's got, and a look behind the curtains as to exactly what it's like to work with the BuzzLead team.
What's going on, everybody? Nick Constantinides from BuzzLead here, and today I'm sitting with Pete Everest from High Profile Promotions, and then my business partner Troy. Pete, thanks for joining us here today. I just wanted to take some time to hear a little bit about your customer experience working with BuzzLead. I know we've been working together for about 8 months now, and it's been a successful partnership, I'd say, and definitely want to just take a little bit of time here to ask a couple of questions, hear about your experience working with BuzzLead, and just kind of give the audience some ideas for how they could think about Outbound.
Awesome. Happy to be here. I've been wondering how to pronounce your last name for a while, so it's good to find out.
Constantinides. Most people say Consta, but it's a long one. So anyways, Pete, he runs a business, or actually, Pete, would you mind just sharing with everybody just what the business is, how you got started, just for some background context?
Definitely. High Profile Promotions is a marketing agency based in Texas. Our bread and butter is managing and staffing demos for beer, wine, and spirit suppliers. Do about 20,000 events a year. So our main prospective clients that Troy and Nick were helping us reach out to were beer, wine, spirit suppliers. And then we were trying to jump into some other verticals like functional beverage and packaged food, along with a few others.
Sweet. And out of curiosity, like what were some of the main challenges you faced before working with us that kept you from growing HPP?
Well, HPP has one employee, which is me, and then there's a bunch of 1099 contractors. So everyone who works the events are 1099 contractors, and we have some market managers who are also 1099s. They're awesome at what they do, but like all outreach outbound was just me, and I just didn't have enough time really to structure it in a way to like follow up with people enough to actually close new deals. So our pipeline was too little, and our outreach was too weak to make the conversions we needed.
Yeah, and then thinking about it from a outbound perspective, I know you had acquired the business, you had taken over, and you had some customers, but it was almost like you're kind of starting that outbound approach from scratch. So thinking back to our days when we'd first gotten started, did you have a super set plan on kind of what that ideal customer profile looked like, how you should go about reaching out to these people, thinking about the sales process in general? And if not, how did BuzzLead kind of, I guess, impact that beginning portion when we really started getting these campaigns kicked off?
I feel like I had a very good idea who the target customer was. But I also owned another business, a dry cleaning business in Austin, Texas. And for years, I've tried to crack the B2B nut. And I've tried like probably 4 or 5 different methods and never succeeded. So I knew pretty well like the challenge that B2B proposes to business owners. And so I knew I wanted to outsource it and get some help just because of the time and effort it takes to do it well. I mean, I didn't know how much time and effort it took to do it well, but I knew I put a ton of time and effort into it and it did do it well. So I had a really good idea on the target customer and then found you guys and wanted to give it a shot, and it worked very well.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate that, Pete. And I guess like, is there anything when you reflect on working with BuzzLead here that you think was unique about our approach that led to success?
I really appreciated the time that went into onboarding. So you all sent like a pretty extensive questionnaire, which took me a long sit down to fill out. But I think it was totally worth it because I was able to really put the time into thinking who our target customer was so that you would understand it. I'd worked with a couple other outbound agencies where it was like maybe like a 20-minute phone call where we talk through target customers and then they just kind of run with what their idea of it is. So I had not seen like the extensive questionnaire before on onboarding. I really appreciated that.
Yeah, and I remember we had put a lot of just time, thought, energy into like the overall strategy. And so looking at that now, like, can you tell us a little bit about some of the results that you got? Like, what did that experience look like with BuzzLead? How were the leads that you got? Did you generate some business from it? Tell us a little bit about that.
I think in the 8 months we worked together, had about 160 calls, which then converted to 16 of those prospective clients signing contracts with us. We generated in the 8 months about 70,000 in revenue, which is going to convert into a lot more. I definitely think these customers are going to be long-term customers. They're really high quality customers. The relationship is going really well. Something I really appreciated about your monthly fee is that I could come up with different ideas for campaigns, because our first campaign was based on a conference that was in Texas that was for beer, wine, and spirit suppliers. And so we used that, and that was a great kickoff to get us like a lot of momentum. And then every once in a while, something would come up and maybe another conference or some other idea, and I would just Slack you guys, and you could create an entire new campaign. And it wouldn't cost me any extra, but it was just a way to get new leads. So it felt very collaborative.
Nice. Yeah, I love that. The TPSA conference was like the first like hit, and we're like, all right, we're in the money now. Let's like scale this thing. Then we're just like stacking wins on top of each other as we went through out there. I guess like, is that probably the thing that surprised you most about working with BuzzLead, or is there something else there throughout the journey?
Yeah, I do think the collaboration was pretty awesome. I didn't expect that from some of the other outbound agencies I've worked with in the past. Setting up Slack channels so that we had like direct link to each other and in your team, so we could just pitch ideas back and forth, made it feel like it was more of an internal team than outsourcing. So I definitely did appreciate that.
Yeah. And then it was fun because I remember, you would just have ideas, pass it our way, and then somebody from our team would go and find a way to scrape that data. Next day, we'd have a campaign going, meetings getting generated. And with most businesses, you can't just come up with something on the fly and be able to get demand from the market. So it was definitely fun. And you've got a unique offer where if other people are in the same situation, cold email works really well. So you had mentioned something that caught my attention earlier where you had tried cold email with like Rick's, and like you tried really hard, blast a lot of emails, never really had success. But it seems like you knew cold email does work. You just couldn't figure out how to do it. Now that you've gotten to work with us for the past 8 months, like how does it change or influence your perspective about like cold email as a marketing mechanism for businesses, whether they're like, does it work? Can you do it for small businesses, larger businesses? Like, has it influenced your perspective?
Yeah, I do think it works. I mean, like, I think the common perception right now is it's like a pretty saturated channel. And I mean, it is. And so that just means that like the expertise that goes into how you actually launch the cold outreach email campaign matters a ton. So like having an expert behind the wheel, I think makes all the difference. Otherwise, it's just too easy to become an inbox that gets archived, like, or email that gets archived like right away.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. We've never been much of like a spray and pray shop. We're more so like the personalized, like hunter-based approach. And I think that's what we do well. And I'm glad it like resonated with yourself and with your now customers as well. And just to like close this out here, would you recommend people to BuzzLead or maybe stay away this time?
I have already recommended like 10 of my fellow business owners to use BuzzLead. I think it's awesome. I think like a really cool part about it is like essentially you can come up with different campaign ideas and bounce ideas off you guys. You launch these campaigns, get high quality leads, and then all of a sudden I'm just getting these meetings booked on my calendar. And every day I got to go look in and see who I'm talking to next. Do some research on who the person is, who the company is, come up with our pitch, and then go make the pitch. So it's like really low level lift on my end to get some high quality leads and a chance for me to convert and bring in new business. So for someone who's like pretty busy, spread thin, it's very helpful.
Heck yeah. That's a win in my books. Pete, well, thank you so much for joining us here. We really appreciate it. And let's keep knocking it out of the park. And we'll talk to you here soon.
Sounds good. Pete. Thanks, guys.